Member for Calgary Foothills.
Mr. Speaker, NDP's carbon tax has done nothing to gain the so-called social license. Just this past weekend, protesters in kayaks staged a protest against the Trans Mountain expansion in Vancouver. Kayaks made of petroleum products, of course. And who was one of the organizers of that protest? Karen Mahone, who was part of the government's oil sands advisory group. Does the government regret appointing Karen Mahone to such an important body?
Minister of Environment and Parks.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And of course, Jason Kenney's Conservatives, I'm surprised they weren't in kayaks behind those protesters, cheering them on, Mr. Speaker, because they have been cheering on Alberta's demise since the very beginning on this matter of pipeline approvals, Mr. Speaker. They have proven time and again that they want to see Alberta fail on this matter of market access, Mr. Speaker. We, on the other hand, have put forward a careful plan in conjunction with industry to ensure that our industry remains competitive, Mr. Speaker, while we get that pipeline to Tidewater.
Supplemental.
Mr. Speaker, since the government won't answer on Ms. Mahone, let's try another one. Okay. Given the Energy East pipeline was cancelled and former NDP Oil Sands Advisory Group co-chair Ms. Japora Berman posted, "I'm glad Energy East was cancelled and I'll stand in front of the bulldozers if I have to and take a stand against Kinder Morgan." Given this and other statements, will the NDP admit appointing Ms. Berman to the Oil Sands Advisory Panel was a mistake?
Sure. The Honourable Minister of Environment.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm pleased to update the House that the Oil Sands Advisory Group has in fact delivered their deliberations on the matter of implementing the regulations of governing the 100 megaton cap. We'll have more to say about that in the coming weeks, Mr. Speaker. You know, it's no surprise that the folks on the other side of the House would prefer a plan imposed on us by Ottawa, given the size of Jason Kenney's pension coming from Ottawa, Mr. Speaker. It's no surprise that they like things from that end of the country. Yeah.
Second supplemental.
Mr. Speaker, I don't understand why this is so hard. Governments do make mistakes. Given the actions of two of their favourite former appointees, why won't the government simply admit their error of judgment and denounce the outrageous statements and actions of Ms. Berman and Ms. Mahone? Will you?
The Honourable Minister of Environment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And of course, Jason Kenney's Conservatives like to ignore the contributions by Indigenous peoples to the Oil Sands Advisory Group, which have been many, Mr. Speaker. There have been representatives from Mikisew Cree, from various Métis organizations, from Treaty 8 and from Treaty 6, Mr. Speaker. And the results of the Oil Sands Advisory Group were, in one industry leader's estimation, described as unprecedented collaboration, Mr. Speaker. That's how you get pipelines approved. That's how you move this province forward. That's how you engage in unprecedented new levels of drilling and activity and so on as we get this province back on its feet, Mr. Speaker, while being